Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Tara Tarot. I will be doing your July 2019 reading. This reading will be for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I am doing a little bit of a different spread. This is going to be an astrological spread of the 12 houses, how they pertain to your life this month. So this will be a general reading. As I have in the past few readings, I shuffled the cards beforehand so we could jump right in and we don't have to wait at all. Alright, so I'll get started right away for you guys. So the first card for you guys in the first house, that's this one. I'm going to struggle. In the first house, that's the house of self, appearances. The card that came out for that is the Queen of Cups. So the first house being yourself, and the card of the Queen of Cups coming there, I do feel like you're being asked not to deny your emotions. I feel like a lot of emotional things are going to come up for you guys with the eclipses. And I also feel like the Queen of Cups is someone who is in control of her emotions and is aware of everything that's around her and has to kind of dive in deep. So I feel like the emphasis of you for this month is trying to really be aware of everything that comes up for you, everything that you feel emotionally, and, become the manipulator of that. And I'm not saying do that and manipulate as in a bad word, use your emotions to your benefit as they serve you, as they should. But if you deny them, then you're not going to be in control of them at all. You have to be aware of where they are. So I feel like there's going to be an emphasis on the self and on your emotional, well-being this month. Not to mention it's Cancer season, so we are diving deep within the emotional waters, and, the retrograde's coming up, and Cancer's having to do a lot with karma and nostalgia. It's just, I really do feel that there's going to be a lot of healing coming up for you guys. Now, the next card, this was something that I wanted to warn you guys about. The card, this is the second house, right? The second house is about finances. It's about your income. It's about your material wealth. And the card that came out for that is the Tower. Now, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to have a setback. I don't feel like it's going to be major, but I do feel like you might have made some kind of a business investment, or you might have, spent a little bit too much money thinking more that would come in and you just didn't really plan correctly. But I do feel like you're going to have a setback in your finances this month. And I do feel like there might become some material loss with that. And this could be used as a tool to help you, start to detach from your ego. So I don't feel like this is happening as something that's meant to completely harm you, but I do feel like it might come as a shock to you, and it is going to be something that's setting you back and might cause you to work harder in other areas of your life this month. So that is something that I have to come up with a warning that might affect you guys. Now, the third house is the house of communication. It's also the house of siblings. And the card that came out with that is the Ten of Cups. So I do feel like you might have some kind of, you might spend a lot of time with family members or people that you live with, people in your, domestic life. You might have really positive, situations with your family members, siblings especially. You might be I think you're just going to have a really harmonious time right now, and you're starting to not feel so alone in areas of communication. You're really talking to a lot of people. You're not feeling in the Nine of Cups, if you notice in that card, there's usually depicted one person that has all of this abundance, but they're by themselves. This person is, especially in this deck, it's kind of like a relationship, but this person is surrounded by other beings of the sea and other emotional connections. So I do feel like you're going to have a lot of, as much as there might be this setback and disharmony within your financial life, within your emotional life, I do feel like you guys will be fulfilled, and you're going to have a lot of emotional connections come to you in that way, and you're going to communicate with a lot of people emotionally. And a lot of them might be water signs, but it doesn't mean they have to be, just because there's Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. It could just be the energy of what's going on right now, because we are in Cancer season, which is a water sign. Now, the 4th house is the house of home. It's also the house of mother, and the card with that is the 10 of Wands. So I do feel like there's been some disruptions between communications with your mother or that maternal figure. If not with that, it might be just with people in your home. Though I just said communication with a lot of like your people in your domestic life might be fine. It might just be just your mother that you're struggling with. I do feel like you feel burdened by it, or you might be having some issues with it and it seems like a burden right now because you might really need this person, but they might not be able to fulfill you in that way. And if this is your mother, just know that they might be going through something too. So by getting rid of this burden, we can do that by communicating best. So it's not like this card comes with like the end all be all, like there's not going to be anything to come back from. It's just kind of like it's taxing. It's very taxing to you right now. Whatever disruptions there are within this relationship with either your mother or maternal figure or like someone within the home is very taxing to you right now. And I do feel that with the 5th house being in the 6 of Wands, I do feel like it's a possibility that, you know, other areas of your life are okay, but maybe just like family, maybe, you know, family outside of siblings, there might be this burdening communication. And I say that because the 5th house is about, you know, relationships, romance rather, not really like 7th house is just relationships. 5th is romance. It could also be, you know, your ability to play and have fun and self-expression. And the card that came out for that is the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands talks about harmony within your desires, victory, receiving acknowledgement for, you know, the good that you do, the work that you've done, the work that you've put in. But it also tells you that you have to continue working because you want to continue being on that path. It being in the 5th house, though, I feel like that could mean that your romantic life you have victory in as well. So it could be that romantically you're doing well, you're getting in touch with a lot of your emotions, you're having a lot of like positive emotional communications with other people, you know, your romantic life, you're doing well, you're being acknowledged, you're being like celebrated, but then you have this taxing relationship that's going on right now with somebody else related to home. And also, I just do feel like you might be expressing yourself better. You know, if you don't deny your emotions, you might be at a place where you're able to express yourself more fully and people could recognize and see like what you are trying to get across. Now, the next house is the 6th house. The 6th house is the house of health, routine, things of that nature, and you have the 6 of Swords. So I do feel like you're being asked to take care of yourself and to rest when you need to. I do feel like you might have been struggling with your health. Maybe you weren't feeling your best lately, but I feel like you're getting to a point where you can kind of rest and get away from those problems, because the 6 of Swords is, you know, rest and like moving away from something after like a hard time. So you could have been having a hard struggle with your health, but I feel like that could be doing better. It could have been that you're struggling with also coming up with a routine that worked for you, but I feel like things might get a little bit more quiet, or you might have more openings in other areas that allow you to actually heal from this like trauma that you've had, especially if it's been dealing with health or, you know, like I said, routines. But I do feel like you guys are going to work through that, and that's a good thing, as you're like moving away from this energy. So this isn't, you're not staying in this negative energy with your health. So I do feel like you guys are getting better, and I hope that's good news. Now, the 7th house is the house of relationships. The 7th house you received the 7 of Wands. Now, 7th house is house of relationships, also business partnerships. 7 of Wands is about being defensive, right? About arguing, but you're in a position to confront your fears or this conflict that you need to. But I'm moving something. But I feel like you're going to either fight with a business partner, and this could be what is a setback in your income, or you could argue with the person that you are in a relationship with. That could be the domestic, struggles. That could be struggles around home, burden around home. But I do feel like it's a very defensive energy right now, and you might be in a place where you're kind of like attacking the other one, and I do feel like I need to say that for you guys, because you have to be aware that that's a possibility, that you might be fighting with someone. And this person, because there's a lot of like wands cards too, they could be an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, a fire sign. Doesn't need to be, but I do feel that there's a lot of defense and arguments surrounding a business partnership or a romantic relationship. Now, another card that came up, the Seven of Pentacles, that is for the 8th house. The 8th house is about transformation. It is about death. It is about change. And with Seven of Pentacles there, I feel like this is telling you that you are in a time where things aren't yet ready to harvest. The work isn't done. You've been putting in work in areas of your life, and you might be waiting for some kind of significant change. But I do believe that it's still coming, and it's on its way to you. It's just not ready to be seen completely. You still have to put in a lot of work. This could also be you putting in work for another person, towards another person, and it might not be ready to blossom into what you want it to blossom into quite yet. But I do feel like there are seeds that are planted, as far as like change and transformation goes, that haven't come to the surface yet. But that doesn't mean that they won't. I do feel that most things come up for a certain sign around their like birthday time. So I do feel like for Leos, if you are a Leo sun watching this, I do feel that you are going to see a lot of these changes actually occur once Leo season comes. Now, the 9th house is the house of travel. It is also the house of higher education and philosophy. And the card that came out for that is the Hanged Man. So what I feel is that some of you, you might have had this tower moment with your finances. And I do feel like you might have had plans coming up or trips coming up for the summer, and you might need to cancel that, because this is a card of sacrifice, and I feel like you have to sacrifice some kind of travel. This could also relate to you having to sacrifice a way that you've been thinking about, like your life and your life's path and your life's purpose. And you might need to sacrifice everything that you thought you knew before, so that you're actually able to like create change within your life. Because I think that you're going through a lot of like changes, especially with this Tower card being around your financial life. You guys care about security and material like wealth as well. So to say that area of your life is now struggling, I can't see you not having to make sacrifices to the way that you've been thinking about things before. And that might even need to be about the way you thought about things, for yourself, because maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit for like where you are right now. Okay, now the next card is the 10th house. 10th house is the house of career paths. It's also the house of father. The card that came out for that is the Justice card. So I do feel like I'm being asked to tell you guys, if you had some issues around work where maybe like you weren't being paid the right way, or maybe there's issues with taxes, maybe you have to partake in something that's illegal with your job as far as taxes go, or you're breaking some kind of law around work. I do feel like there's something around a contract with work. All right, here's the thing. This could mean a few things. For a positive side, the Justice card being in the 10th house of work could mean that you signed some kind of a contract for work. This could mean signing a contract for a job, for a new job. This could mean growth in a company. For the downside, it could mean that you are partaking in some kind of illegal activity regarding like taxes or tax fraud, and that could be a warning for you not to be involved in this, and to make sure that you're really focusing on like having your job be paying you in a correct manner, because issues can come up surrounding work if not. And I just have to say that warning because this is a general reading, and I do see both. The first time I saw it, I thought of trouble with the law around work. Then I thought about, contracts. So I have to say both of them because I do feel like both aspects could pertain to different people within this energy right now. Now, the next card is the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of friendships, and the card that came out for that is the Ace of Wands. So you might have to, I feel like the Ace of Wands is like an offer is being given to you, and you are being told to accept it, right? Like an opportunity. And I do feel like you're getting maybe new offers in friendship, you're making new friends, or you're having new like beginnings with certain friends in your life. I do feel like this could also be you accepting friendship from another fire sign in your life, and it giving you like, there's a benefit to it, if that makes any sense. Like the benefit to this relationship, where this friendship in your life could be that like they really push you in a creative field or in a creative way. But I do feel like you're being asked to accept this. And in friendships, I think that you're going to have a lot of people like coming up for you. And I see like the 3 little foxes. I feel like also with the spiral here, if you like notice it, that usually relates to like spirituality and rebirth. So it could be someone from the from a past life, if you believe in things like that, coming back to you. That's kind of just what I see intuitively. Now the 12th house is the house of completion, also the house of like spiritual insights. It could be your creative ventures. The card that came out for this is the 6 of Cups. So whenever I see the 6 of Cups, I feel like it relates to a past relationship, like a past friendship, someone from the past that brings you happiness. It's the soulmate card, essentially. So I do feel like there might be a soulmate that is coming back in your life, where you might need to end things with a soulmate. But I really feel, for more often than not, for this card, because there's also retrograde coming, people from your past are going to come back, and it's going to be harmonious in that aspect of your life. I just think you might struggle financially a little bit right now, but I think there could be new contracts that come up for you in work as well. And it's possibility that, because with this Ace of Wands, sometimes I think of it not as like a job opportunity, but like an opportunity to do something like new that you're passionate about. You could start a new, like adventure that really could make you money in the long run, but it could be the start to something. But like I said, there's seeds that are planted right now, but they haven't like come to the surface. So a lot of things are just in the works at the moment. And the bottom of the deck received the Moon card. So with the Moon card, I feel like it talks about, the possibility of being deceived and illusions and having to really like listen to yourself. So I think that right now things are going to be confusing for you, because I don't think everything is what it looks like it is. So I think that you're being asked not to be deceived, really. Like, not to be deceived by what you think you know. Truthfully. You have to have an open mind, which is also could relate to this Hangman there. You might have to have an open mind because things might not be as they seem. Now, another thing is there's 3 sixes. There's the 6 of Swords, the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Cups. So I do feel like there's going to be success in love. If you watch this video and you were thinking about like a relationship in your life, and because I also said victory in the romance house before, I do feel like there's going to be success in love. There were 2 7s, the 7 of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles. 2 7s usually relate to like a good business partnership or a special relationship. So it could be about this relationship, or if the Justice card pertains to you signing a contract, it could mean that there is a business contract that you're making. You might have had to argue or be defensive to argue, like, to get what you want. out of it. That is a possibility as well. And there were another 2 cards, I feel. Yeah, there's 2 10s, right? So 2 10s usually indicate something of a marriage, but the card here is the 10 of Wands, which is like a burden. So you could hear about somebody's marriage around you, like, is struggling, or if you are married, your marriage could be struggling because of another relationship. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be someone else, because I do feel like there's so many things about, like, victory and love and things going well in the areas of love that I think more often those 2 things are going to be someone you know who's very close in your life is going to have struggles within their marriage. Alright, guys. So that is your reading for July. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you liked this new way I did this reading. I would really enjoy it if you, like, left a comment below. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!